do is we're going to change it up and put that piece of the presentation later. So if all the speakers heard me say that, we're going to switch around the order of what we had planned for us today. So I'm Rick Bisson. I just want to, again, welcome you. I also want to thank our county and state crews who have been out working these last few days for the storm and the weather that came through. Yeah, thank you for that applause. But that was for our county folks, our state folks, all the partners who've been out there. I know you guys have been experiencing a lot of bad weather this side, other parts of the island. And also, before we get started, I want to acknowledge your council person for the West Side, Tamara Paulton, who's also here. Thank you, council member. Of course, you see her at many functions. She's out there in the community quite a bit. I actually would like to introduce to you the new administrator for Maui's emergency management, and Amos Lono Kailua Hewitt. Many of you know Amos. He's going to be up here speaking a little later. Retired battalion chief from Maui Fire Department, stationed out here on the west side for quite a bit of his career. So some of you may already be familiar with him, may already know him. But he'll come up and speak a little bit about what's happening with our NEMA. So actually, maybe we'll do that now. Maybe we'll do that part now, Ines, as we wait for the equipment to come. I know it's on its way. So anyway, let me, without further ado, I'll go ahead and introduce Amos, and then we'll get to some of my speakers. So please give him your attention. Thank you.
Aloha mai kako. As the mayor had said, I worked in the fire department for 25 years. I did spend the last 6 years of my career on the west side, or battalion chief of Battalion 2, which includes Wailuku, Lahaina, Napili, Lanai, and Molokai. What I'd like to say is that I'm super, I don't want to get emotional. I'm super grateful to be able to serve the community again. People have asked me, why would you take on such a responsibility coming off of retirement to come into a situation that is and will be attacked? Why would you do such a thing? The simple answer is all of you. I absolutely am proud to be a part of Maui Nui. I am grateful and privileged, feel privileged to serve all of you. I am committed to serving all of you moving forward. I will admit that there is a lot to address. There is a steep hill to climb, and I probably will stumble and fall. But I promise you that I will give you all that I have to protect you. As a little boy, I always was very proud of where I came from and the opportunity to defend where I came from, and that's what I plan to do with all of you, for all of you. So I thank all of you for allowing me to take on this position and serve you, and I hope to work with all of you moving forward. So a couple of updates regarding NEMA. I'm not sure if everybody knows, but the agency has a lot of vacancies. So it makes the situation problematic for me is the fact that, we don't have the emergent positions available or filled. So that's one of the things that we are super focused on, to get our positions filled with good people, qualified people that love the community as much as I do. And moving forward, that's one of the first things, or the things that we're in the middle of right now, trying to find those people that want to serve you as well as much as I want to. Second update is that we're building a Maui emergency management team. or incident management team, a Maui IMT. Basically what that is it allows us to support the incident at a forward position and support the incident in a backwards position, which is in the EOC. So we want to be able to support the incident commander, wherever that may be on the ground. And part of the reason we struggle is not having that team to come forward and support either on a forward position, like I said, or back in the EOC. So we have a team that's working on a plan. We're offering training and building a Maui IMT to support our operations, like I said, both forward in the incident command position up in front and or the incident position in the back. One of the things I worked in the Lahaina West Side, the West Maui Community Aid. I was called in by the mayor on August 10th and did support the community aid piece for 32 days. And we were servicing somewhere around 6,000 people a day. At the end, it was somewhere around 2,500 volunteers working under this kind of structure. What I did recognize and acknowledge is that the community will outperform government. I really don't know if there's any other way to do it faster. The community they come fast, they come first, and they give everything that they have. And it was an amazing opportunity for me to be a part of that. And as I was going through this process and I was trying to work with the county to support you, I reflected on that. Is there a better way than how it happened in this moment, in this situation? My answer, my opinion is no. So moving forward, what I'm gonna do is, the plan is to basically replicate or build what was done in Lahaina with the 12 points of distribution that were organically set up by the community. What I would attempt to do is, organize that a little bit. I don't know about better, because you guys are pretty outstanding, but organize it where the government plugs in a lot quicker, or MEMA plugs in a lot quicker. We support you a lot faster. That also means that within that organization, we talk about the preparedness and the mitigation efforts at the geographic locations with those community associations, working within the districts, supported by the county council members, so and so forth. So the effort for the Maui Emergency Management Agency is to connect with the community really soon. I've been meeting with some other county council members already, looking at different strategies, talking to community members as well, community leaders, to find a way to replicate what happened in Lahaina on a grander scale. What I wanted to talk about is the transition, the problems you guys are probably having with the checkpoints. As you guys know, National Guard did leave, and we have a private security company that is here to fulfill the same need, fulfill the same function for us. What I just kind of want to let everybody know is that some of this transition piece is kind of part of transition, and I kind of ask you for a little bit of patience as we work with the security company to resolve any kinds of, I think, transitional issues. Once the security company gets used to everybody, like you guys did with the National Guard, I think things will improve. So just on the pass issuance or the placards, the passes help us expedite entry, right? So if we have passes, it helps us expedite entry. You have your placard, you drive through the checkpoint and traffic isn't a problem, and you get to go and see your property. So second reason for passes is to restrict people who don't belong in your areas. Right? That's why the passes or placards exist. Thirdly, as we move into debris removal, there's going to be a lot of trucks and some kind of unsafe, possibly unsafe kinds of operations for people traveling through the zone that don't belong in the zone. So the placards allow us to provide for that extra safety as well for all of you. We will resume pass issuance here at the DRC Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 4 and Saturday from 8 to 2, start beginning with this Friday. If you have a pass, you don't need another pass. If you lost your pass along the way or have a reason to need another one, you guys can come down to the DRC and get your passes and then, go through the zone like you deserve to go through the zone. At this point, I like to introduce Gold Shield, which is the security company. Just give you a short kind of introduction about them, and then we'll move on.
Aloha. Thank you, Amos. Thank you, Mayor, for having us. Thank you, community, Lahaina community. Thank you. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Michael John Palazado, co-owner of Gold Shield Security Service. This is my father, John Palazado, who started the company. Before I hand the mic over to him, a little bit about who I am. Local boy, born in Oahu, raised on Maui all my life, upcountry. Went to Maui High School, but had a lot of friends in Lahaina, so I was out here a lot. Graduated in 1989, went to UH, got my degree in Administration of Justice, pursued my career in private sector security. Worked out in the Wailea area for 11 years at the Kealani until this very wise man by the name of Kai Palao hired me at the Grand Wailea to become his director of security. I served the community and served the hospitality industry out in Wailea for another 12 years. And now I've taken the role of corporate global director of security for the Outrigger Hospitality Group. Served on the board for the Maui County Resort Security Association. I was a board member there. We had a lot of ties with community involvement where our resources helped the liaison between the Maui Police Department, Fire Department, sheriffs, fire inspectors, DLNR. So we were very involved in that. Have over 30 years experience in security, hospitality, and I want to let everyone know that it's an honor to be here serving the community again in Lahaina.
Aloha, good evening. Thank you all for allowing Gold Shield to be a part of this, and I say this very heavily hearted tragedy. All the people that we've hired for this check post, in the beginning, we asked them to have compassion, empathy for everyone who has lost family members, property. You can watch this tragedy unfold on TV, but when you're actually driving out there and looking at the damage, I get choked up every day. So again, we are here. We took over from the National Guard, and it's as Amos said, it's a transition where the National Guard did such a good job with bonding with you folks. And when we're transitioning, our job is to protect the property and prohibit unauthorized people from entering that property, disturbing any of that property. And that's part of the job. Oh, thank you. So, all right. So the transition was a difficult one because we don't know you. We want to know you. We want to bond with you. And what had happened is the National Guard started to recognize all of you folks and let you through the check posts, and it wasn't a problem. When we came on board, we stopped everybody because we don't know who you are. And we got a lot of flack back. Good flack, I mean, because it's a learning experience and a curve for us. But we want to follow the National Guard and let you people do what you have to do with less intrusion into your lives. So a little bit about me. I met my beautiful wife at the Whale's Tail in Front Street up top when it was there. I was a young Navy seaman. My ship was invited to Lahaina, went to the Whale's Tail, met my wife, hair down to her ankles. I said, this is the girl. And here we are 52 years later. 3 kids, 5 grandkids, and what a beautiful life. My career, I started with the Honolulu Police Department in '72, went to Chaminade University, got my degree in criminal justice management, and in 1978 I transferred to Maui PD. And having served in Maui, I also served on Molokai, and I was came back to Maui, I was the night commander for Lahaina. I was the district commander for Lahaina, and my last 5 years was up at the 911 center. A great achievement up there is we put all computers in and we're able to save lives over the telephone. A big transition. It was really awesome. One of my greatest accomplishments, getting that place squared away. When I left the PD, I taught at Maui Community College, criminal justice classes. I started in the hotel lodging industry. I worked at Embassy Suites in Lahaina here. When it was Embassy Suites, I was director of security, and then moved on to Ritz-Carlton Hotel, where I was in Kapalua, I was director of security there. And it's been a real pleasure in working with this community. My joy is helping people, and that's what my 25 years in police work was all about. So I'm humbled to have this opportunity and grateful for all of you. Thank you so much.
So the format of tonight, I didn't really go through that. Sorry about that. So we're just going to present information from all the partners, and then the partners will be available to discuss and answer questions for you. So that's kind of how we're going to approach this, just because the crowd is big and we just want to be able to honor your time. So I'm going to go ahead and call up our Representative Curtis from FEMA, and we'll give you some FEMA updates.
Thank you. Aloha. My name is Curtis Brown, representing FEMA. On behalf of FEMA and the federal family, we'd like to hope that you guys had a great holiday and then a happy new year for 2024. Nothing but good things to come, correct? Nothing but good things, correct? All right, good. All right. So with me tonight, obviously we have the Army Corps of Engineers. We have Health and Human Services here, from U.S. Health and Human Services here from Dan Hulahan to talk to you about some behavioral health. The Small Business Administration will be here. And then you've also asked for the Insurance Commissioner to be here. And so we've invited the State Insurance Commissioner here, who has a representative here to answer your questions regarding insurance. FEMA's mission, 2 primarily. One is housing and the other one's debris. Since the last time we spoke, we have 1,296 households available for our direct lease program, where FEMA has 3 property managers that are managing units that are paid for by FEMA to house displaced personnel or displaced survivors. So far, we've only licensed in 76, but we anticipate over the next couple of weeks that number is going to increase. And we're also looking for property owners that are willing to lease those properties to us for up to 24 months. And so if you know anyone that's willing to lease those properties, please have them contact or email mauihousing2024@fema.dhs.gov. Once again, that's mauihousing2024@fema.dhs.gov. The next primary mission for FEMA right now is debris removal. I'm not going to get into Colonel Curry's presentation, but what I will say, over the last 2 days, the temporary debris storage site, it was weather tested. I was out there today with Colonel Curry and his staff, and we saw it perform as it was supposed to do once we get the debris in there. And so, which is good news for us. There was some erosion from the road, and so they're gonna make sure the road's secure. But as far as the temporary debris storage site and the misinformation that was on social media, the temporary debris storage site did what it was supposed to do as far as the rainfall. In some places on Maui, I was told got up to 9 inches. So that's really good news for us, because without that weather event, we wouldn't really know the impacts of 9 inches potentially on that site. But it did exactly what it was supposed to do, and I'll let Colonel Curry go in depth more with you for that. Without further ado, I'll invite up Colonel Curry to talk to you. And for FEMA, we'll have our staff just behind us over here in the left. Thank you.
Well, aloha. As Mr. Brown said, my name is Colonel Jess Curry from the Army Corps of Engineers. First, I just want to say, thank you and mahalo for welcoming us back for another opportunity just to provide an update for the ongoing efforts that the team continues to work very, very diligently at in this really incredibly important response effort. I also want to mention again how extremely humbled we all are by this community, by the support that you've shown for us, but also the support you continue to show for each other. It's extremely humbling just to be a part of it and just to experience your aloha for each other. And again, it's been an honor to be a part of it, and we continue to work as hard as we can to maintain your trust, to earn your trust, and to ensure that as this moves forward, that we work as a part of your community, not from outside of your community. So from the update perspective, I'll talk about debris in a few minutes, but I did want to also start by mentioning the temporary elementary school that is under construction near the Kapalua Airport. That school is continuing, that construction project is continuing to go very, very well. As is the case with any ongoing construction progress or any construction project, weather has an impact. So the last 2 days did have an impact out there, but the team, the contractors that are working to build that school are already remobilizing to recover from that. Those are contractors from Hawaii, Pono'aina Management, Goodfellow Brothers, Will Scott. Those contractors, we were out there with them again today, and they are working to get back on track in order to keep that school on schedule for a completion in late February. That late February date is 100% targeted to enable the Department of Education to get moved in and then to ultimately have students in that school for the fourth quarter of this academic year. So on the other side of spring break, the students would be back into that school and into a facility that will enable that learning and enable them to have a productive place to go to school for the next few years. Again, it is going well, and we're proud to be a part of that. On debris, I'll mention initially, so in addition to the debris mission that we have here in Lahaina, the Corps of Engineers also have the debris mission in the upcountry in Kula and Olinda. And I wanted to report that mission the work up there is substantially complete. About 25 properties that our team and supporting contractors in the county and that entire partnership worked to remove the debris from safely, responsibly, and also with absolute care for the environment and the community while we did that. Certainly that took a lot of folks coming together to make that work, but I would tell you that it went really, really well, and that work is complete. And as we look at how we take the lessons learned from our time in Kula and Olinda and those properties, that will make us even better when we come to do this debris removal here in Lahaina. We hope that you've been able to see some of that, some of the pictures, some of the things on social media. We certainly have some pictures that we can show. We hope that that helps build your confidence in what we're going to start here in Lahaina, really here in the very near future. As we look at that and starting debris removal here in Lahaina, we are right at the point where we are ready to begin. We have the contract in place to start on residential properties here in Lahaina. They are working to mobilize and working to get everything set to start really within the very, very near future. A couple of things that are important to us being able to start. First one we've talked about a number of times, rights of entry. We are receiving rights of entry from the county, and that's given us the initial starting points for us to get started here very soon. But we would still encourage those, if you haven't submitted a right of entry, to come talk to us, come talk to the representatives from the county that are collecting rights of entry, and let us answer your questions that will help you understand the program fully so you can make that decision, and we encourage you to submit that right of entry. As we look at this work and the challenge we have in front of us, the more rights of entry that we have, the more completely we're going to be able to address this hazard that remains in Lahaina as quickly and as efficiently as possible. So please, if you still got questions and have not submitted a right of entry and you're a property owner or business owner in Lahaina, please come talk to us. I'm here. You can see those in the red and white shirts from the Corps, and then we're also here in the DRC every day, as well as have a call center that you can call in and just ask those types of questions, because we want to make sure that you know what the process will be so you're comfortable signing in and submitting that as quickly as possible. The second thing that we need to start debris removal is we need a place to take the debris. Mr. Brown mentioned the temporary debris storage site that's been under construction for several weeks now. Construction project has gone very, very well. And as Curtis mentioned, this weather test that we just had over the last 2 days demonstrated that it is ready to perform as designed. Every drop of rain that fell outside the containment cell was routed away from the containment cell. Every drop of rain that fell on the containment cell where the debris will go was funneled and collected and into a place where it can be contained and ultimately tested for the future when that debris is in that location. Exactly how it was designed. And again, we certainly don't, the weather that comes in, definitely it does have a silver lining, and that's that silver lining. As we look at the continued construction, the team out there is working to get that construction back up and running as they need to allow that material to dry. We mentioned some of the material that did come down the road at the entrance to the temporary debris storage site near the recycling center. That primarily was material that was coming from the road construction that you can see ongoing there that we are putting in order to ensure that throughout the life of the removal of debris in Lahaina, that those roads needed to be improved to support the trucks that need to move, and we don't destroy the roads and the routes into the temporary debris storage site while we do this work. So that is ongoing, and that's really where that material came from. I would tell you that throughout the storms and immediately after, the contractor constructing the TDS was there. And there's the footage out there of them working to address that. I can tell you today, as we visited, they are going to the places where that debris came from the road construction, and are adding additional measures, and they're adjusting to, again, put in permanent solutions so that the next big storm that comes, that material again won't make its way towards the highway. But I would emphasize that none of that material came from the cell of the actual temporary debris storage site. So it actually performed very, very well. Again, we do need a place to take that debris. We are looking forward to the county council's final review of our ability and our approval to be able to utilize that site in Olowalu. Once we are past that, again, we will be ready to start debris removal here in Lahaina. Just a little bit on our strategy for as we will start that. So our residential debris removal contractor is going to start with 5 properties initially. Some of those homeowners have already been contacted to let them know that their properties will be among the first. And then at about a 2-week interval, they'll be expanding the number of teams working simultaneously by about 5 every 2 weeks. So start with 5, after 2 weeks, then they'll expand to 10. Then after another 2 weeks, they'll expand to 15. We're still working to right size that, and we expect to make some adjustments as the mission moves forward. But we expect it could be as many as 35 teams working simultaneously in Lahaina to remove the debris. The reason that that's important is, again, why we're all here and why we're doing this. That debris in Lahaina needs to be removed as quickly as possible. What it represents right now is an open hazard that is susceptible to the weather, and the quicker that we can remove it from an uncontrolled environment and get it into a controlled and managed environment at the temporary debris storage site, the quicker we'll be able to reduce that risk to your community, reduce that risk to the environment, and ultimately get you on another step closer to rebuild and to recover fully from this tragedy. So again, we are very, again, humbled to get to be a part of it. As I mentioned, we'll remain here tonight, as we always do, to answer questions. I'll be around, and ironically, I think I'm the only one here in camouflage, but I'm probably pretty easy to spot. The folks in the red and white shirts are, seated here, but also we will be back at our table in the back. So again, mahalo for the opportunity to provide this update, and more importantly, for the opportunity just to be a part of this recovery effort along with you. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Dan Hulahan, Danny. I'm with the United States Department of Health and Human Services. I've been to quite a few town meetings, both here and up in Kula, and every time the Colonel speaks, I am amazed at the progress these guys are making. So, if you want to recognize that, I think you should, because it truly is amazing. The U.S. Department of Human Services, we have 5 core mission areas here. But before I get into that, I wanted to make note that everyone that's spoken so far, the 4 people that have spoken, have used the word humble. And it's interesting that they use that because of the level of sincerity that everybody sitting over here is working at. And they're working for you. I was going to get up here and say how humbled I am at the sincerity of you and the strength. I can feel your strength just standing here today. It's your resilience. I'm impressed and I'm humbled. Let me tell you about the 5 core mission areas of the United States Department of Health and Human Services. We bring all the resources needed to bring your educational system back to life. That's not only elementary, but secondary and higher education. We talk about medical systems, bringing your FQHCs, the federally qualified health centers, public health centers back online to help folks. We also work in the area of human services. That's kind of a wraparound program that looks at child care, Head Start, the elderly, our older folks in our community, maybe you. And we work in the area of environmental health. There's been a lot of concerns expressed about the environmental health of moving back into or just entering the burn zone. We've got people here from the CDC, and more are coming to answer your questions about environmental health issues because we know it's important to you. And lastly, we look at the area of behavioral health. And when you talk about behavioral health, a lot of people say, well, it's mental health. I think that the way I look at it is supportive health, because we're here to listen and appreciate your stories, but primarily here to listen. We have been invited here to support you since August. And you know, when we talk about being humbled, it really is humbling to hear your stories, to have you share your stories with us, and then us share back with you. So if you have a neighbor, a friend, a family member, and maybe yourself want to talk to somebody just about your experiences, just about how you're feeling, we'd be happy to arrange that for you in complete confidence and at no charge. So if you're struggling a little bit, I'll tell you what, how many days has it been? 153 days since this happened? That's a long time. And you all know there's a long time in front of us. So if you're having any issues, maybe struggling a little bit, want to talk to somebody, come and see us afterwards. We'll be in the far corner over here. We'd be happy to hook you up with somebody. I did want to say one thing about the schools, that temporary school that's being built. We've managed to get a huge new kaboom playground that's going to be coming in here to be built. And, you know, in conclusion, I'd be happy to talk to you about any of our 5 core missionaries. We honestly hope you feel the support our specialists on the ground have been giving you, standing beside you. With that, we're in the process of transitioning from federal support in the behavioral health area to local and state support. Through the crisis counseling program, that's been given to the state, they're going to be hiring Hawaiian and local Maui folks to provide counseling to you, professionals. So that's a big plus and something we all are happy about and need to be looking forward to. Other than that, thanks for taking a minute to be here. Again, I feel your strength, and I am humbled to be here. Thanks a lot.
I'd like to call up Elizabeth from SBA to share a few her words.
Hello, everyone. My name is Elizabeth Vargas. I'm a public information officer with the U.S. Small Business Administration, SBA. You probably know by now, I should hope so, that SBA offers low-interest loans to homeowners, renters, nonprofit organizations, and businesses of any size. Because of our name, a lot of people think we only help businesses. But in a case of a disaster like this one that you went through, we do help mostly everyone. Homeowners and renters can get loans for their losses that are uninsured. Renters can get up to $100,000 for any losses inside their home, their furniture, anything they lost, including their car. And homeowners may get up to $500,000 to replace or rebuild their home. These loans are low-interest loans. One thing that I really want to emphasize is that if you applied or registered with FEMA and FEMA refer you to SBA, you must fill out your application, because if SBA cannot approve you a loan, we in most cases refer you back to FEMA. And FEMA has other needs assistance programs that maybe you may be eligible to get some additional grants. So it is very important. If you were referred to FEMA and you didn't fill out the application with SBA, the disaster assistance from the federal government stops right there. If you fill out your application, if you get approved, then you have money available to rebuild or replace your personal belongings. And if you're not approved, you may be referred to FEMA in most cases to get additional funds. So it is very important for you to know this information. We have our documents, our flyers, all the information in more than 11 languages right now. We have meetings, we have a staff here at the Disaster Recovery Center every day. And you can come, right now we are here, we can answer any question. We have the 1-800 number, 695-2955. And please don't feel alone. We know that you are overwhelmed with everything that is going on, but it is very important that you apply. We have a deadline. Well, the deadline already went or passed, but we have a grace period, so you can still apply until January 25th. So you still have 2 weeks to apply. Once you applied, it doesn't matter if the January 25th goes by. You are in the system. You can work with our loan officers. We work with you to help you, to give you the assistance that you need. So please come to us, register with FEMA, apply with SBA, or I should say, if you're already registered and you were referred to SBA, please fill out your application. If you are approved, you're not obligated to take the loan, and you will have time to decide, and we will work with you. So please let us know. We are here January 5th. Please remember, please pass the information to your neighbors or your friends that we are still here. January 25th is the deadline for you to apply, and then you can go on with other things that you have to do for this disaster to recover. And thank you.
I'd like to call up Kathy O from Department of Health.
Aloha, everyone. My name is Kathy Ho. I'm with the Department of Health. I'm the Deputy Director for Environmental Health. So what I wanted to tell you guys was that we will be setting up air monitors and sampling around the area in which the Corps of Engineers is going to be doing its work. We did this in Kula, as you may recall, for those of you who have come, because I've seen, I recognize many people. When they started in Kula, what we did was we put air sampling equipment around the Kula area. We also put up purple sensors and we put up E-bands. And what we did was we did that so that you guys could know, that we could know that the Corps of Engineers was doing a good job, how their mitigation or dust mitigation measures were working. What we did find was that their dust mitigation measures were working. For the most part, all of the purple sensors and EBAMs were green, except for a few occasions when people were doing yard work or smoking meat or doing other things like that. So we intend to do that again in the Lahaina area. Today we had some of our staffers out in Lahaina installing purple sensors. So we have 65 purple sensors installed currently. If you would like to have a purple sensor in or around your home, please see me. I'll be at the yellow tablecloth there. The only parameters is we need electricity and internet. The other thing we're working on is the Department of Health attended a public informational meeting at with the City Council regarding alternatives for individual wastewater systems. The Department of Health is continuing to work with the county and federal partners regarding building of homes, temporary homes for the residents. That's all I have for today. If you have any questions, please come see me in the yellow tablecloth. Thanks.
I'd like to call up Sam Thompson from the Insurance Commissioner's Office.
West Maui community, aloha. Thank you for having us this evening. We've been able to have a table staffed up until I think last week on the 5th, and we appreciate people that have come and bounced questions of claims off. Our office is, we regulate the insurance industry. The main charge of the insurance commissioner is to ensure a vibrant, competitive insurance market, and the real big thing is that insurance companies stay solvent and they can pay claims if something like this happens. And as of the latest numbers I think I've seen, there's been about 4,000 homeowners related type claims in this community, and over $1 billion has been paid out, and there's about another $500 million reserved by the companies in anticipation of additional claims. So any questions you have on the claims process or concerns, you're welcome to call our office. We have live people you can talk to. If they're backed up, we have some ways to overflow, or we'll take a message and get back to you. But any questions you have on the claim process, feel free to reach out to our office. If you feel like your claim's not moving forward or the adjusters aren't responsive, please let us know. We have waived in a lot of additional adjusters to help with the claims. I do want to publicly thank a lot of the Western states that stepped up and helped Hawaii late lent us regulators for the last few months. We've had people from Colorado and Arizona and California, Alaska, Washington, Arizona, and I think Nevada, but have all been stepped up to help. And states in these types of situations, and counties usually aren't staffed up for a big event, and so they do borrow from each other, and we reciprocate. They reciprocate, and we appreciate publicly what these Western states have done, the Western state commissioners have done. And again, any questions, any concerns, you're welcome to call our office. We do have a table in the back. We've had staffed until last week. If there's an additional need for on-site staff, we're happy to consider that and work to arrange that. Otherwise, you're welcome to call the 808-586-2790 and just ask to speak to the duty investigator or anybody that can help you if you have a claim question. Thank you very much. Sure, that's 586-2790. So 808-586-2790. And our website has a lot of information. Those numbers I gave you, we have periodically, that'll be updated as we get new information from the companies. You're always welcome to go there. There's a lot of the pamphlets that we have on the table are available online as well. So thank you. And you can just find that by just doing a web search. DCCA Hawaii Insurance will get you to our landing page, and you can easily navigate from there.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Tonight, I've been asked to speak on behalf of Red Cross, and I'm going to tell you why. Our mayor's advisory team, along with the governor and the governor's team, had worked very digitally with the Red Cross. Some of you may know there was some movement that was made from Honua Kai. So I'm going to read what we collectively put together. We're pleased to share that the recipients of a message to relocate this week from the Honua Kai are able to remain in place. The American Red Cross, at the direction of government partners, had begun moving folks from condos into hotels to free up potential long-term lease options. However, Honua Kai properties will not be participating in that program. We apologize for the confusion that arises as we work with multiple partners, shelters for almost 6,000 people at 36 sites. It was never Red Cross's intention to cause undue stress and confusion to clients in their care. Honua Kai comprises several properties with different contracts and dates. The soonest of these is January 31st, but it depends on the room block. Rooms scheduled for January 31st date will be notified next week. The NCS program is a short-term emergency service to keep you safe until you can find stable intermittent housing. Please continue to work with your shelter resident transition team to move into a more stable long-term situation as soon as one is available. I do want to say this. The housing piece has probably been the most difficult piece to work on because it changes day by day. But I will say this, and I know people don't, might not really believe this, but I'll say this because I'm there working every day. The mayor's advisory team, the mayor's staff, the governor and his team has been working every day to find housing. January 31st, at the next community meeting, the mayor's advisory team will present to you folks, moving forward, the housing situation and all other buckets that our mayor's advisory team is responsible for. It is our hope as we move into phase 2, and we think about living situations, creating housing, we can move forward with confidence and give you guys more solid information on what that's going to look like. I just want to say thank you for being patient, putting up with this humility, and I don't know what else to say, but we're working hard every day. I promise you that. Thank you.
I just wanted to let everybody know that on Monday, the DRC is closed. This Friday, it's open, but Monday for Martin Luther King, the DRC will be closed. Also wanted to point out that for anybody that needs any help with interpreters, interpreters are under the County of Maui Parks and Recreation sign over there. If you guys need some help with that. I'd like to turn it to Erin Wade from the county.
Good evening. Good to see you all again. We made it to 2024, so that feels good at the moment. As with most days, I'm here to give you an update about the status of the rights of entry for debris removal. As of today, we have over 1,800 that have been submitted, and that's for a 2,100, about a 2,100 total number we're looking at. So 1,800 is great. We still have to close a gap by a little over 300 rights of entry. If you are able to help friends and neighbors who might not be tech savvy or be able to get online, we would really appreciate your help. We all know we can use the traditional media methods to reach out, but Coconut Wireless is the #1 in the state of Hawaii. So if you have the ability to help friends and neighbors fill out, there is a map on the Maui Recovers website which shows all of the properties that have their right of entry filled out, and then the ones that we haven't made contact with yet, the ones that have not filled out a right of entry. If you know any of those folks and are able to assist, we super appreciate you. So what are the top questions of the week? The first question is, what if I have multiple properties? Up until now, the database only allowed you to fill out for one property per email address. Now we have a system where using a Gmail account, you can do multiple properties with a single Gmail address. So if you've got questions about that, happy to help after this. We are over there at the table where there's the County of Maui seal. Joe and Annette are sitting there right now and can also assist. Second question is, what if I can't find my insurance declaration page? We've now been able to determine if you have anything related to your insurance that has your name, your address, and your policy number, we'll accept that. If you can't get your full declarations page, it's okay. Please submit as much content as you have related to the insurance. The third question is, what if my property ownership is complicated? Very common for it to be in a trust, an LLC, a corporation. We do have on the Maui Recovers website information about what needs to be submitted based on your property ownership strategy. We're going to be having a workshop this week, Saturday at Lahaina Luna Cafeteria. If you are interested in participating in that, we can give you lots of one-on-one assistance. We'll also do a little presentation about what the debris cleanup process looks like. And really any questions that you have about the whole process, we'll be there to answer those questions. 3 to 5:30 p.m. Lahaina Luna Cafeteria on the 13th. The fourth question is, are commercial properties eligible for cleanup? The answer is yes. So if you wanted, or if you know folks that have a commercial property, please encourage them to submit for cleanup. What we're working on this week is a facts sheet related to ineligible debris. So we'll try to get that out before next week for folks. We do want to ask, if you have debris that's not eligible for cleanup, please don't just pull it into the road. It makes it even more complicated for the crews to be out there doing their work, reconnecting infrastructure, those types of things. The second is, if we are working with the state court system right now for properties who have a member of the family who's the primary owner who may be deceased. So we're working with the court system to create an expedited process right now for those situations. And again, just stay tuned, please, to Maui Recover's website for more updates and information, and we hope to see you at the workshop on Saturday. Thank you.
I'd like to call up the mayor. Before I do that, I just wanted to thank all of our state and federal partners. My experience been working with them intimately for the past few months. I can say that they've been amazing. And I just want everybody to know that they're trying really hard to help our community, and they're providing help and services that they don't typically provide. I can testify to that. So I just wanted to thank all of our partners. Thank you so much. And then here's the mayor.
So before I introduce our next folks that are going to be presenting, I apologize. I should have said Happy New Year to everyone. And that we're hopeful that 2024 will be a much, much, much better year for all of us than the last. I also wanted to say thank you for bearing with the lack of AC. Of course, it just went down this week before this meeting. This place has been operating 6 days a week since August, and it wasn't designed that way. This is a gymnasium, use it on the weekends, use it occasionally. So we've been running our machinery pretty hard here every day since that time. But we know what's broken. We've ordered the parts, so we hope to get the air conditioning back to you folks. So I wanted to say thank you. Obviously, you're sitting in bleachers tonight, not the chairs, which requires a lot of manpower to put up and take down when we've had our meetings, so we can set it back up. But since we've sort of cut down on our businesses, we'll be using our bleachers. So I thank you for having to deal with that. Please watch yourselves as you come down the stairs after we're done. The folks I want to introduce, as you know, we started in a search and rescue mode. We started in emergency mode. We went to the EPA and the cleanup. You folks have lived through all that. We're currently in response mode, but we are getting to recovery. And so we have stood up a new department at the county called the Office of Recovery. We've gotten approval from the county council for funding. We've gotten as well hired a consultant. So what we're going to present to you is where that is and where that is going. The two people responsible for running Office of Recovery have other jobs. Currently, the Deputy Director of Management, Keanu Lauhi, stands on the side there. She's very low-key and will be there, but she'll be here to answer questions. And the current Managing Director for the County of Maui is going to head the Office of Recovery for us. He was starting there in that position before he took over his new position. So I'd like to introduce you Josiah Nishishita.
Thank you very much, everyone. Aloha. Thank you, Mayor, so much for that. Looks like our laptop isn't working right now, so I'll just go ahead and talk through some of this. Apologize, we had some slides prepared. Just building off of what our presenters have talked about thus far, we're just so honored to be here today. My name is Josiah Nishishita, Acting Managing Director for the County of Maui. With me here today too, she's a little shy, but Keanu Lauhi, who's also leading the recovery efforts with me. We have a big appreciation to our county council for approving funding and positions recently, and we're in the present time trying to stand up more functions so that we can get recovery services to you folks sped up and in a more timely manner. One of the big initiatives that we've had is being able to get our recovery management services contract onboarded. And that will allow us to basically and primarily ensure that all federal funding opportunities that are available that we're able to seek and that we're able to secure. So we're excited for that and to minimize any costs to the county for any of these response and recovery efforts. Mayor's message to us as the Office of Recovery is really plain and simple. It's to keep our people at home. So as we talk about all the different functions that the Recovery Office will be taking on, if you remember nothing else today, it's really that our charge is to help keep our people home. And that's really what we're setting out to do. A lot of this couldn't be possible without all of our federal and state partners. And we've had other communities from all across the world reach out to us, offer assistance. And at times, even for myself, it feels like we're really behind in a lot of things. But a lot of communities have really demonstrated to us based on things that they have learned already, things that they have gone through, as well as things that our state and federal partners have experienced or learned from other areas. We've been able to, really get ahead of the game in the sense of what other communities have experienced. Our road to recovery is not a linear process. It will be cyclical. So as we go through this, you'll notice that community engagement and outreach is kind of at the center of it. And we'll continue to reevaluate these areas as we continue to move forward. For more information on all of this, as well as a lot of the recovery efforts underway, you can go to mauirecovers.org, and more information will continue to be pushed there over time. But we encourage you folks to visit that site. You can find a lot of this information up there. We have already established the recovery framework. You will be able to find that presentation and documentation on mauirecovers.org. So we won't cover that today. In the identifying needs process, one of the things that we're really grateful to our federal partners on that they helped us develop is a public sentiment analysis. So you will find that on mauirecovers.org if you're interested. But one of the things we heard often from our community members is a concern of having to come over and over again to meetings to continue to say the same thing and not understand if they're being heard or if their areas are being addressed. And so as a part of this sentiment analysis that was done, it was really collating a lot of the testimony that has been received thus far, putting it into easily understood graphs and charts and key themes, as well as policy recommendations that have been generated by community members. So if you're interested in that, please check it out. That is helping to drive our needs assessment. The West Maui Community Plan is a backbone to the recovery needs assessment, as well as all of the information that we've heard from all of our community members thus far. That recovery needs assessment will be used to develop strategies and implementing projects that will be able to actually undertake a lot of the recovery efforts that our community has desired. So think about, undergrounding of utilities and evacuation routes and, housing efforts and expedited permitting and all the things that you've heard at all the different community meetings. That's being encapsulated into a recovery needs assessment where we'll be able to identify and develop how can these things actually be accomplished. And we'll have further discussions with the community about prioritizing and adopting these projects or strategies. As you can imagine, there's a significant amount of time, resources, and funding that may go into actually implementing some of these things. And so laying that out for our community members to understand on how we want to allocate those resources and what is a priority to the community to accomplish first and what can be pushed to later on down the road will be developed as a part of our engagement and outreach efforts. As a part of this whole process, we'll develop a long-term recovery plan that will help to guide the efforts of all of our projects and partners. And all of you sitting here today, as well as our other community members that are unable to participate with us here tonight, will be a part of that, and we welcome the feedback and engagement. The meetings that you see here will be transitioning over time to more of an engagement and outreach effort where our teams will be present to help collect feedback from our Lahaina community to help drive those decisions. And so we look forward to further discussions with all of you on that. There are 6 recovery teams that have been established, and this is as a part of the National Disaster Recovery Framework. So we have locally led teams here on the island, as well as matched with our federal and state counterparts. So all of our partners in this, including NGO partners, have been truly amazing in helping us to get off the ground and running. Some of the areas you can see here is housing, interim and permanent builds are some of the key topics that come to mind for a lot of community members. Infrastructure, such as like restoration of utilities and other services. Health and social services. There was some discussion earlier about behavioral health services, child care, case management services, and things of the like be handled by that group. Natural and cultural resources, we talk about like the use of public lands, re-envisioning how that's done. The historic districts or cultural artifacts that may be present in the area, and how do we keep and maintain those. And, as one example of a culturally significant site like Moku'ula, and working with the community on how that's envisioned and the project and plan to set forth for that area. Our economic recovery team will look at areas such as like workforce redevelopment programs, diversification efforts, and of course, business restoration efforts. And our community planning team, which is the group that many of you will get to know significantly over time. They'll be leading our engagement and outreach efforts, as well as they're spearheading our emergency permitting function that many of you are probably interested in, on how to rebuild back quickly and how to get back to your homes. All of our teams are meeting constantly, working on behind the scenes. I know many of you may not be aware of how long this office has been stood up, or how much effort has been put in thus far. But all of our teams are working directly with our federal and state counterparts and NGO partners to really stand all these items up to get a plan ready to help the community recover from the disaster. Finally, some of the things that you can expect in the engagement efforts. We will be announcing our community meeting schedule in the coming weeks, so please look forward to that. I'm sure further information will be provided at these meetings as well. There'll be community presentations on recovery needs, the public sentiment analysis, and other materials that are being developed so that we can ensure that the community is engaged, understanding what's happening, and also driving and leading that effort. We will be bringing out all of our teams so that you folks will be able to meet the individuals involved, as well as to better understand and learn some of the initiatives that are happening at the moment. We'll be available after this meeting tonight. Really appreciate you taking the time to hear from us, and looking forward to working with all of you in the coming days ahead. Thank you. And I'll turn it over to Mahima.
Thank you, Josiah. Before I return the microphone to Mayor Bisson to wrap up tonight, as a reminder, our team will be here, as we have been every week, to help with any questions that you might have. I just want to bring you back to this, because this is the most pivotal time of transition from response to recovery. This is where this roadmap is going to have some bumps, some speed bumps, some potholes. Some of us will be in, big trucks. Some will be on motorbikes. It'll be a 5-lane road, a small country road. It'll change as everyone goes through this. But we are so excited that this is the stage we're at. So hope that you'll be seeing more of Josiah and Keanu as we enter this most critical time.
And right now, the window is where we're trying to do this transition of carrying through and completing the things that we need to complete operationally and response-wise, and then move into this future. So this is a really, really excellent time. I'm going to turn this over to Mayor, and as a reminder, we are here and we'll continue to be here. There are some differences that will be coming up in future community meetings, but very always happy to be among you. Mayor Bisson.
Okay, so a couple of thoughts I wanted to share. When Amos was talking about the MEMA team that he walked into, there are 9 positions at the office at that department, 5 of which have either resigned or retired since August. So that's what he was talking about. That's the office he's walked into. So he is seeking to fill those other 4 positions. Not an easy task. And I also wanted to share, he was among 15 people who applied for this position that were narrowed down to 5 finalists that were all given a very rigorous test. And then and the testing came from the current directors of each of the 3 other counties, emergency management systems, as well as the state HIEMA, Colonel Barrows, as well as Darrell Oliveira, who you all have come to know. Those were the 5 members that evaluated the applicants. And then we ended up with the top 3 finalist scores. And Amos scored the highest among all of those, and he was selected. So I just wanted to explain that backdrop to how we got that process. The Office of Recovery, each of those 6 areas that Josiah described, which was again shared with us by FEMA early on as the national model. We didn't invent that, we didn't reinvent that. But the way we staffed it was the directors that currently work for the County of Maui in all of the 17 departments that make up our county, and we just added a couple more. The managing director and I selected 2 from each of the directors and managing deputy directors from those departments. So they have their normal day-to-day functions, and they also represent the start of our team. Now that will change over time, personnel will change, but each of those were staffed by 2 members from each of our leadership teams here in the county. The 6 advisory members, the advisory team members from Lahaina, each one of them sits in one of those 6 buckets as well. Our partners from Oahu, our partners from our federal agencies also sit in those buckets. So those 6 areas, that framework is what Josiah and Keanu start with and will be working with. And no doubt that will evolve. But just to put sort of more information on how that Office of Recovery is expected to work for us here in the county. And again, I just wanted to thank, they're all sort of volunteers, if you will. You get hired as a director of public works and you end up being on the infrastructure team and still run that. I mean, that's kind of an example of what's happening. So we were going to rely on our community. I think Amos talked about this at the beginning of his remarks, how the community responds so much quicker than government. As part of government, people say, you're too slow, you don't do enough. But I hope you understand that sometimes things that aren't seen is what's happening. But this was just an effort to describe to you what is in the works and what we hope to do. And again, it's going to take all of us working together. And I know you care about this because you took the time to come tonight. And some of you have been here every Wednesday night that we've been here. I think this is our 9th or 10th, and we're not stopping. And some of you have even come up to Kula, where we're there every Tuesday night having something very similar with a much smaller group. So we know this means a lot to you. So we want to make it worth your while when you do come here. You have unique situations, which is why you'll have the opportunity to go to the counter and maybe talk to the insurance commissioner about an issue you have with yours, talk about right of entry you might have with Aaron, or any of the folks that are here. So I just wanted to say thank you for the time you guys have put in for your community, and I appreciate it. Mahalo. Good night, everybody.